Welcome to A Moment of Zen. Time to sit back and relax as model, actress, mentor, and supermom Zen Sams takes you on a sexy and wild ride, covering the latest in film, fashion, pop culture, cryptocurrency, fintech, cannabis, and entertainment from the millennial mom's perspective. Here's your host, Zen Sams.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome to episode 209. That's right, 5 years on the air and still going strong. Here's to another exciting episode filled with incredible guests. It's a pleasure to spend my time with you on the airwaves. Thank you for tuning in every Saturday night and engaging with me on social media. That truly makes it all worthwhile. Please continue to follow me at Zen Sams. That's Zen with an X, not a Z, XENSAMS. And remember that all episodes of A Moment of Zen are available on our YouTube channel Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern via digital streaming. And you can also check us out on Your Home TV platform at mox.yourhometv.com. In the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, today, we're interviewing Stephanie Ferrett, otherwise known as Hey Mom. She has turned her everyday kitchen performances into global phenomenon. She's even caught the attention of major outlets like Good Morning America and ABC News. She's going to come on and we're going to chat how she sang her way into the hearts of everyday Americans. In the WOR Founders feature with Audrey Pruitt and Hunter Spencer Gaylor, the driving force behind Spencer Pruitt, we're going to chat how this dynamic duo is disrupting finance and changing the game. In our Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift, today we're joined by Natalia Guzman, a board-certified nurse practitioner and national trainer and founder of Atelier Aesthetix in Beverly Hills. She's going to join me to discuss the current injectable trends and how products like CO2 Lift enhance both results and recovery. In the Polished Beauty Express segment, Dr. Daisy Aim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon and OBGYN, chats egg freezing and the egg freezing boom. Despite increased interest in fertility preservation, only a small percentage of people are using their frozen eggs, raising discussions about long-term usage and costs. Stay tuned for Natalia Guzman coming up next. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
The Kelly Williams Show is brought to you by Serendipity Yacht Cruises and Events. Tune in and turn on your happy. Kelly Williams is full of energy and incredible guests. Watch her anytime, free programming on Your Home TV network, and do follow her on social media for a chance to win monthly prizes. Check out The Kelly Williams Show on yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in the Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift, today we're joined by Natalia Guzman, a board-certified nurse practitioner and national trainer. Originally from El Salvador, she discovered her love for aesthetics back in 2006, and now with years of experience under her belt, thousands of injecting hours and extensive training, she specializes in full face rejuvenation and regenerative aesthetics treatments that enhance and maintain her patients' natural beauty at the aesthetics center that she founded called Atelier Aesthetix. And it's aesthetics with an X, right in Beverly Hills. She's a key opinion leader and trainer for Galderma, Allergan, and Revance, traveling the world to educate fellow medical professionals on advanced injection techniques and facial anatomy. She's going to join me right now to discuss the current injectable trends and how products like CO2 Lift, once again, can enhance both results and recovery. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Hello, how are you, Zen? Thank you for having me.
So excited to have you. Let's dive right in. So, Natalia, you are known for your expertise in creating holistic individual treatment plans, per se, tailored to really each patient's unique features, which I love that. And you have a passion for natural balance aesthetics when most doctors are just filling to inject, right? So interestingly enough, in recent years, there's been this noticeable shift in the aesthetic industry with patients just prioritizing subtle refinements versus the overdone look that really enhance those natural features, right? The dramatic overdone look of the past is out. Based on your experience, what do you believe is driving the shift? And how have advancements in injectables helped practitioners like you deliver more natural looking results?
Over the past few years, I have noticed a big shift from people going from not wanting to do a lot of filler to moving to the more regenerative medicine. A lot of this has been driven by, number one, a lot of celebrities wanting to go back to their natural state and look more natural, still enhanced because they're not getting rid of their filler completely. Or if they are most certainly replacing it in a more tasteful way. One of my ideas has always been maintaining your natural beauty. And that's really what I like to focus on. I don't want to change the patient's faces. I don't want it to look different. I want you to look like a more refreshed version of you.
You're spot on. That more refreshed version of oneself, I think, is so critical to keep within proper context because with all these social media filters, nobody looks like themselves anyhow. So why go out of your way to do it? Now, with so right, with so many options available, you have neurotoxins from fillers to biostimulators. How do you determine the best approach for each patient?
When we are creating a holistic, individualized treatment for the patient, I look at the patient's face as a whole. I listen to what the patient's trying to tell me, and I try to create a treatment plan where the patient is included and brought into the consultation and also the treatments that I'm going to be providing for the patient. If somebody is telling me that they have a short time in terms of their results and they need a quick outcome, I do understand that at that point, it needs to be something that's going to provide the patient more instant gratification. If you have a wedding in a month and I'm doing a bioregenerative treatment, you're not going to see a result that quickly. On average, a bioregenerative treatment will take me about 4 to 8 weeks to actually see an improved treatment. So it depends really on the timeline of the patient. If the patient is patient enough to wait for a regenerative medicine to actually start doing its work. And sometimes I do both. I do hyaluronic acid in combination with a regenerative treatment, sort of like Sculptra.
And in your opinion, what are the top three most popular injectables right now? And which areas of the face and body are you injecting most frequently?
So one of the most popular ones, because I do specialize in doing that, I've been doing Sculptra for 10 years, and it's one of my favorite treatments. At least 2 or 3 patients a day, they are getting Sculptra. That is one of my favorites and one of the most popular ones. I do get a lot of people coming in and saying, I don't want any filler, I want more natural. So Sculptra is really number one. Number two has been skin health. Skin health in combination with polyrevitalizing nucleotides. So Rejuren, which is the PDRN, or Toscani, which they have a lot of different vitamins, niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, different things that we can infuse into the skin. And I like to combine that with a Silfirm treatment, which is radiofrequency microneedling, and that will help tighten the skin. That'll help with, certain jowling, texture of the skin. And then on top, I like to do also a CO2 laser called Cool Peel. Cool Peel is a minimally invasive laser that will help with pores, pigmentation, and just overall look of the skin. So when we do all those together, we get a very, very nice result. And the third one, the last one that I do a lot and I personally love myself is PDO thread lifts. Areas when we have injected with volumizers or fillers, there's only so much we can lift. So we need something extra if the patient's wanting to address a little bit more of the laxity of the skin. PDO thread lifts is one of my favorite ones to use.
Now let's bring CO2 lift into the picture. As we know, carboxytherapy has been around since the 1930s, injecting carbon dioxide gas underneath the skin, but CO2 lift was able to remodel this in a new delivery system as a topical gel mask. And while many monotherapy benefits are included in this, it can also be used in combo therapies, both pre and post procedure. How does CO2 lift fit into your broader aesthetic treatment plans, especially for injectables? How have you firsthand seen it improve patients' results and recovery?
Oh my gosh, and it's been the best thing that I could have brought into my practice. We are in Beverly Hills, as you mentioned, and a lot of my patients don't have the time for the downtime. There's always events happening, there's always meetings and things they have to do all the time. So when I apply CO2 lift mask on my patients for bruising, it'll help with hydration. It'll also help with infusing any of the things that I put topically for them. It has been a complete game changer in my practice. Patients also, I do recommend that when they travel a lot, taking a package of 3 for the CO2 lift mask so that their skin maintains that hydration. As we know, being on a plane, sometimes you're traveling a lot and you don't get to drink a lot of water. Utilizing one of these masks at night for the time that you're out of the country or whatever they're doing, they're going to maintain their hydration of the skin and just keep looking glowing and youthful during that time.
That's a great endorsement. You have me sold. I'm already a big fan of CO2 Lift. I love the company. I love the products. I love the founder behind the company. She's all
Absolutely.
about female empowerment, and they're just good people, right? Now, going beyond your aesthetics center, you're also a trainer and educator, clearly making you a trusted source when it comes to injection techniques and facial anatomy. With your extensive experience, I'm sure you've seen it all. I'd love for you to share some of the most common challenges patients face during recovery from injectable treatments, as well as some of the biggest mistakes you've encountered from poorly performed injectables. How do you approach managing these complications?
Depending on the recovery of the treatment that we have done on the patient, I think one of the most challenging ones sometimes, especially for a patient that is a first timer doing a treatment such as PDO thread lifts, the swelling, potentially some bruising and the soreness. That has been one of the major challenges sometimes for patients in their healing process. And again, CO2 mask has been a perfect addition for these kinds of patients because it'll help with the swelling, it'll help with the bruising. And in terms of the challenges of treatments that patients have done that I've had to fix, lips has been a very big one, and under eyes. I feel like these are very small areas that a lot of injectors tend to over inject and inject incorrectly. So finding lumps and little bumps around in the lip, making the lips too big where they migrate in the upper area of the lip. And then in the under eye, when they apply, number one, too much filler or the incorrect type of filler, or number three, also too superficial of the filler. So those are things that are very challenging to address and to really take care of so that the patient can have a better outcome. A lot of the times patients, after getting this dissolved and treated, they're terrified of doing anything again. But the understanding that no matter what we do, we have to do it in moderation and it has to be injected properly so that we have no complications.
Yeah, I've heard some horror stories out there, and definitely go to somebody that's trusted. Now, as an aesthetic injector, I know it's so important to stay up to date with all the latest advancements, especially with more patients gravitating towards non invasive treatments. With your extensive experience and expertise, you're definitely at the forefront of this ever changing landscape. Looking ahead, what technologies or techniques do you find the most exciting and see potential for shaping the future of aesthetics?
Oh my goodness. I am very excited for the future of aesthetics. There's always something, like you said, coming out, and we're looking into a lot more of the regenerative medicine and utilizing things that are going to regenerate the actual cells of our skin and improve texture, improve volume deficiency, and keep us as safe as possible. All the treatments and the products that we have now available in the US market are meant to work synergistically with all the other things that we have. But I think now we are addressing the root cause of the aging process, which is the volume of elastin and collagen and fat in our faces. So now that we're figuring out things that are going to help us improve those areas and maintain, I think it's going to be a game changer for us. Skin boosters are really big right now in the market as well. And great skin boosters are coming from overseas so that we can actually provide not only a volumized face, it's going to look natural and refreshed and rejuvenated, but we're also going to be targeting the skin. I'm very passionate about skin. So I think that once we have the regenerative medicine and the skin regeneration, I think it's going to be a game changer.
Wow, you got me excited about everything. I'm going to come to Beverly Hills and see you.
We are here. We'll take good care of you.
I'm on my way. I'll be in Laguna Beach this weekend, so maybe I'll stop in on my way back to LAX.
I love it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. You're filled with knowledge, beauty, and just so much expertise. I love having our experts on.
Thank you so much then for having me. This has been exciting and I can't wait.
Guys, that was the incredible Natalia Guzman, board certified nurse practitioner, national trainer, and founder of Atelier Aesthetix. Definitely check out her practice online at Atelier Aesthetix with an X, atelierAesthetics.com, and register for her direct trainings at artaestheticinstitute.com to take your career as an injector to the next level. And of course, definitely follow her on the gram at nurse.nat.aesthetics. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. That was the Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance.
For more information or to order CO2 Lift, ask your skincare professional or go to co2lift.com. Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. Today, we're talking about the power of authenticity, music, and motherhood, all wrapped into one viral sensation. If you've scrolled through social media lately, you've probably come across Stephanie Ferrett, otherwise known as Hey Mom, who has turned her everyday kitchen performances into a global phenomenon. Millions have fallen in love with her stunning voice as she sings while cooking for her kids, and it's even got the attention of major outlets like People Magazine, Good Morning America, and ABC News. But Stephanie isn't just a viral star. She's a powerhouse vocalist, a former actress, and an independent artist who released her debut album, Bloom, last year of 2024 with Van Hunt's On the Hunt music group. Now, Stephanie Ferrett is the viral Hey Mom, singing her way into hearts everywhere. Joining us now. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Oh, hi. Thank you for having me. It's so great to be here.
I'm so excited. So, Hey Mom phenomenon. Let's chat this. Wow. Social media is such a wild place, Stephanie, and you never know what's going to resonate with people. But when it does, it spreads like wildfire. Your videos aren't just about music, they're about real, raw, everyday moments of motherhood. And people are deeply connecting to that. If you look at the hashtag Hey Mom, it has exploded. And, and videos featuring real life moments of parenting often perform extremely well on social platforms. So you have that going for you. Why do you think your videos struck such a chord with audiences? And did you ever expect this level of viral fame?
No, I didn't. I didn't at all. I think what resonated with people so much is that it's just so raw and it's just so real and it's uncut and it's messy. I think a lot of the moms can relate to having a messy kitchen. Like we don't always have it put together. We don't always have, our lives put together. And I think, and that's okay. I think it's okay for us to see other people who don't have it together. And so we feel a little bit less alone. And, it's kind of comforting in a way to just be completely transparent and real. And I think people resonated with that.
Right. Aside from the fact that you have insane vocals, right?
Oh.
People didn't just resonate with your messy kitchen. They resonated with how passionately you sing and how engaged you are in that moment. And everything doesn't stop. You continue doing your duties gracefully. And it's amazing how people gravitate towards your authenticity. And your story proves that talent mixed with relatability is a winning combination. And let's be real, how many of us sing while cooking? We just don't sound as good as you. Now let's chat how you balance motherhood and music. So being a mom is already a full-time job, and adding a music career on top of it, that is no small feat. According to a recent report, over 70% of working mothers say they struggle with work-life balance. And in the entertainment industry, the demands can even be greater. You're juggling viral fame, music, and raising a family. What has that balancing act been like for you?
Wow. So it kind of gives you an importance to like what's important, like what jobs to take on. And being a mom, we're we're already multitaskers. We can multitask anything. So you kind of just fit it in with your kid's schedule. So when the kids come home from school, they'll be like, hey, mom, can you do a video? So I'll do it around dinner time. So you kind of just work your job in your everyday life anyways, and it becomes a habit. The kids always wanted me to sing, and I was like, I don't want to go on TikTok. I'm too old for TikTok. Like, what are you guys talking about? They're like, just upload it, mom. You'll go viral, mom. And I'm like, okay. And then when I uploaded a couple videos, like, it was fine. And then the response I got from everybody, I was like, this is crazy. Like, why do you guys want to see me sing in the kitchen? My kitchen's dirty. I look a hot mess. What's going on? But it resonated with people, and the kids just kept asking me to sing. And I'm like, okay.
Wow, it's refreshing to hear that even with all the excitement, family remains at the center of everything you do. And honestly, that's probably why people love you even more. You're not just a performer, you're a mom first, and that resonates with so
Yeah.
many of us. And I can't help when I watch you sing, think to myself, did she give it all up for kids and a family? Because when I watch you sing, I close my eyes and I see you on a stage of where you should be singing, right? But like, yet you're content doing this. But as a mom, I can totally understand and empathize with just having to put your dreams second and put your family first. And so many parents have made those sacrifices. Whether you're one of them or not, you're making a
Yeah.
full comeback. And I love this comeback story, or this story that was always supposed to be. So let's chat stepping into the spotlight on Fox. Going viral online is one thing, but stepping onto a national stage, that's a whole different ballgame. You made your first television appearance in 2024 on I Can See Your Voice on Fox. That must have been such a pivotal moment. Walk us through what it felt like stepping onto that seat, and how did it change things for you?
It was like a 3-day adventure. It was the first time I left the kids. It was really difficult for me. It was an experience. I was so glad to be home, but I feel like the stage is my home, and I feel like other singers can relate to that. Like, I felt like I was in my element. I love being on stage. I love performing. I'm the youngest of 6 children, so I was always the loudest, and look at me, so that's just always been in me to sing and just to be, center of attention. Just kidding.
Wow.
You just got to be louder, but it feels like, I feel like I'm at home. So
Yeah.
it's exciting for me to be there. And I just felt like I was home, like I was where I needed to be.
And
So
you sure were. What a full
yeah,
circle moment, from
yeah,
singing in your kitchen to standing on a national stage. If
yeah.
that's not a Cinderella story, I don't know what is. And
I
I love
know, right?
and I love that you didn't just stop there. You kept pushing forward with your music, and that's incredible. Have you
Yeah.
had any formal vocal training?
No, no formal vocal training. I used to sing. I mean, if you want to say singing Mariah Carey cover to cover in your bedroom, then yes, or Celine Dion covers. That's what I used to do when I was younger. I would sing Celine Dion and Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston songs in my bedroom at the top of my lungs from cover to cover, and dance in the mirror. And that's what I did.
That was your training, and I
That was
love it.
my training. Yeah.
I love it, I love it. We're definitely of the same generation, because I
Yeah.
could relate to all of those singers, and I remember having to rewind the cassette players
Yeah.
back so I can
Yeah.
get the lyrics
Yeah.
right and then write them down. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Now
Absolutely.
let's chat the journey of Bloom and independent music. So your album Bloom dropped in March of
Mhm.
2024. That's about a year ago, and you
Yeah,
worked alongside Van Hunt, which is
correct.
huge. The
Yeah,
independent music scene is growing rapidly, with platforms like Spotify and YouTube giving artists more control over their careers than ever before. But without the backing of a major label,
yeah,
it's also a tough road.
yeah.
What inspired Bloom, and what has your journey been like as an independent artist?
So I met Van Hunt through social media. So through all this Hey Mom stuff, him and I got connected through his partner, Halle Berry. And between the year 2023 and 2024, him and I kind of did like an artist development where we talked about what I wanted to say as an artist, and just to have something to be proud of, to put out in the world. There's a song on there called Hey Mom that was it was hummed by my daughter Ireland. So I'd take the kids to school, and Ireland would be humming like, hey mom, hey mom, hey mom, hey mom. And I was like, that is so cute. And so I put that in the album too. And so there's a song called Hey Mom, and that's in there. And that's, via Ireland. And there's a song Bloom on there. And we just wanted it to be like this new version of me, of motherhood, of Stephanie, just blooming into this new version of myself. And yeah, it's just a very honest and raw album. And it's something that I'm very proud of. And yeah, I did it mostly remotely. Him and I worked remotely. I think I sing one of the songs at his house, but the rest was remotely. And I have no expertise in engineering. I didn't know what I was doing. All I know is that I had a dream, and I know that Heavenly Father helped me. I know that God helped me, because I didn't know what I was doing. I had no experience. I have no experience with microphones, with any of that, because I've been out of that industry for, 10, 11, 12 years raising kids. So I don't know this music side. In this industry, it's like you have to know everything. You have to know, and engineering skills and all these things. So I think I had a lot of help from heaven with that album, and I'm just very, very grateful.
Wow, it definitely had a lot of divine intervention, and
Yeah.
it's such a powerful message, staying true to yourself, even when the industry pushes for something else. And Bloom really does feel like a deeply personal project, and I'm sure your fans appreciate that rawness in your music just as much as they do in your videos. So I love that. Now,
Thank you.
the internet is full of surprises, and when you go viral, you start to hear stories from people you'd never expect. You've built an entire community of fans who adore not just your voice, but also the love and warmth in your videos. Have there been any fan interactions or messages that truly caught you off guard or touched you deeply?
You know what? I get a lot of celebrities that like my stuff and a lot of comments and stuff, but for some reason, there's a group of moms who have children on the spectrum who write me and say, Stephanie, my son was having an episode, or my daughter was having an episode, and your voice really comforted them. I don't know why that touches my heart so much, but I do have family on the spectrum and things like that. So like when I hear stories like that, those are the ones that absolutely just warm my heart. So for me to comfort your child, comfort your baby, comfort one of your children on the spectrum, that is like one of the most important messages that I get. And I get kind of a lot of them. So it means,
Wow. That's incredible. It's
yeah,
a reminder that what we put out into the world, whether it's a song, a video, or just a moment of kindness, can come back to us in ways we never imagined. And you're proof of that. Now, you've already had a whirlwind year, viral fame, TV appearances, a debut
yeah.
album, but something tells me you're just getting started. So more music, more viral moments, and maybe even a record deal, right?
You know what? It's so crazy. I've gotten zero label offers, but that's okay to me because I think God has a plan for me. I'm hopeful. Hopefully, I can do television. I would love to do Broadway. I would love to do movies. I would love to do more music. I'm an open book. I love to just create. I'm a creator, whether that be voiceovers for Disney, whether that be more music, more Broadway stuff. I want to do it all. I want
You
the kids
will.
with
You
me.
will.
I want to go on tour with the kids. I just want us all to do it together as a family. I would love for my husband to just be able to quit his job and us just travel and sing and, just do it together as a family. Because at the end of the day, it's like family is all that matters. Like that's all we have. And doing stuff together as a family is like my number one thing.
All right, Stephanie, with all this excitement, I'm eager to hear what you've got. Hey, Mom, what can you sing for me?
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
Wow, you just brought tears to my eyes. I was like holding back tears. You're so good. I got chills. Oh, I love your voice. I love you. I love everything about you. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us today.
Appreciate that.
You listeners want to find her directly on the gram, you can definitely check her out on Instagram at Stephanie Ferrett. You can also head to her website at stephanieferrett.com, but all the interaction and the magic uploads happen on her profile on Instagram at Stephanie Ferrett. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. That was the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
A Moment of Zen is sponsored by FinTech TV.
FinTech TV, the newest streaming channel focused exclusively on the business of blockchain, digital assets, and sustainability. Broadcasting from our studio on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with daily reports from NASDAQ, global expansion, and 24/7 coverage. Become part of the launch. Head to fintech.tv/invest. Fintech.tv/invest.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to the Founders Feature. Wealth isn't just about numbers. It's about strategy, foresight, and the ability to pivot before the rest of the world catches up. As markets fluctuate and traditional financial models struggle to keep pace, a new wave of industry leaders is rewriting the rules of wealth management. Enter Autry Pruitt and Hunter Spencer Gaylor, the driving force behind Spencer Pruitt, a firm that isn't just managing wealth, it's redefining how financial success is built in an era of disruption. Autry is co-founder and CEO of the firm. He is a strategist at heart, blending decades of financial expertise with political and economic insight to navigate an ever-changing landscape. A powerful conservative voice, he served as a surrogate for the Trump campaign, founded New Journey PAC, and grew an online platform to 1.3 million daily users. His influence extends beyond finance into real estate, regulatory arbitration, and media, making him a force in both economic and political spheres. Hunter, co-founder and president of the firm, brings a global markets perspective, having played a key role in raising over $1 billion in capital for clients and advising some of the most influential names in finance. With experience spanning Wall Street and international investments, he's helping position Spencer Pruitt at the forefront of financial innovation. Together, they're making waves, breaking away from traditional models and positioning Spencer Pruitt as a powerhouse in wealth strategy. Today, we're going to dive into their vision, the risks they've taken, and what they see coming. Chatting how this dynamic duo is disrupting finance and changing the game. Welcome to the show, superstars.
Thank you so much for having us on board.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
So excited to have you. Okay, let's dive right in. So, Autry, financial markets have been anything but stable. Inflation, policy shifts, and global disruptions have investors really on edge. Yet, Spencer Pruitt continues to thrive. What's your strategy for navigating this turbulence?
We look at the bottom line fundamentals. We look at balance sheets. We look at the performance of company and competence of the chief executives leading those companies. That's the strategy. So when the markets are going crazy and things, do you have a CEO that is laser pointed, laser focused, and has a plan and delivers on that plan? Do they understand a balance sheet? Do they understand their cash flow? Do they understand a profit and loss? Basic accounting 101. If they have those in point or on point, then it's a go. That's why we're able to remain stable while everybody else is rocky.
Yeah, that's a powerful approach. When you look at the reports from McKinsey, they find that firms embracing adaptive financial strategies, like you just mentioned, they outperform static competitors by nearly 30%. And what you're describing is basically a masterclass in adaptability, because you need that CEO to be at the forefront of all of these ever-changing market trends and curves. Which brings me to my next point. Hunter, wealth management is often seen as a game for the ultra rich, but studies show that 70% of high net worth individuals started with little to no generational wealth. What misconceptions about wealth building do you think hold people back the most?
The biggest misconception is that wealth management is a privilege rather than a discipline. And I think too many people believe you need a certain net worth before you start properly managing money strategically, when in reality, I believe that financial stewardship should begin with the very first dollar earned. And that's where true wealth is built, through intentionality, right? And that's allocating capital efficiently, understanding the risk in the markets and what's going on geopolitically, and then prioritizing what I would consider long-term wealth creation over short-term gratification. So ultra wealthy don't really succeed because they have access to exclusive investments or opportunities. They succeed because they treat every single financial decision as part of a broader, more global strategic framework. And so the earlier individuals adopt that mindset, the more powerful the compounding effects become over time.
Exactly. Wow. And the myth that you need millions to start investing is one of the biggest barriers to financial success. I mean, the reality is that consistent strategic moves, like you just described, no matter how small, compound over time, the end, right? Now, Autry, you built influence not just in finance, but also in political advocacy, media, and digital platforms. You even grew an online platform to 1.3 million daily users, to my understanding. How has that cross-industry experience shaped your approach to wealth management?
Messaging, communication. One thing about building a platform is you have to understand how to communicate, how to message, and how to do it in a concise, succinct way so that the audience can grasp what you're saying. And you have to do it in such a way that they grasp it. A lot of people communicate on how they want to hear it versus how the audience receives it. Same thing applies when you're dealing with high-level business consulting. You need to communicate in the way your client understands the communication, be that verbally, be that graphs, be that reports. So a lot of times the reports or term sheets or items, any items you put out, oftentimes we have to tweak those because we understand that our clients don't look at them every single day, right? They're not looking at balance sheets every single day. They're not looking at financial reports hour in and hour out. So a lot of times, rather than get caught up in fancy language and jargon, we use plain language that's clear, that's understandable, so we can communicate effectively. So that's the real lesson in Brent, from politics and media into the financial Wall Street space, is understanding how you communicate. I always tell people, if you get somebody from Wall Street that's saying a bunch of words and a bunch of acronyms you don't know, you should run for the hills.
You're so right. And the ability to blend that financial expertise with the digital reach is becoming a massive advantage. Harvard Business Review study found that firms leveraging digital influence see 25% faster client acquisition. And clearly, Spencer Pruitt is ahead of the curve once again. Now, Hunter, if you had to bet on one major financial trend shaping the next 5 years, what would it be?
Well, straightly put, I mean, I place my bet on the intersection of private credit and AI-driven financial infrastructure. I mean, it's all AI. We're witnessing a structural shift in capital markets where you're seeing traditional banking constraints, whether it's due to what we're witnessing now, which is regulatory burdens. You're seeing balance sheet risk aversion, which Autry alluded to. We look at balance sheets. And then and opening opportunities for alternative lending to step in. So at the same time, AI is revolutionizing how capital is deployed from a real-time risk assessment. You have to look at hyper-personalized asset allocation. So these two forces together with personal credit and AI, you're going to see capital is no longer dictated by what these big institutions are doing, but it's going to be sophisticated data-driven models. And investors who understand this is the convergence. This will be well positioned for future growth for the next 3 to 5 years.
That's huge. And alternative assets, right, from blockchain-backed investments to private equity and emerging markets are exploding.
It's all decentralized financial ecosystems.
Yep. Yeah. And to your point, there was a study just last year, BlackRock report showed that institutional investment in alternative assets has grown by 42% in the last 3 years, which lines up exactly with what we're seeing. Now, Autry, risk and reward go hand in hand. Some of the biggest financial wins come from calculated risks. Can you
Yeah.
share can you share a bold move that Spencer Pruitt has made that paid off in a big way?
Yeah, one of the bold moves we've made is we've taken on high risk clients that have had problems in the past. So we have many clients that in their past life may have ran into a problem with the Treasury Department or with the IRS. And where big firms such as JP Morgan Chase or Goldman Sachs or McKinsey of the world would run for them and not make them clients, we make them clients. A lot of times these individuals got into trouble not because they were trying to avoid the law, but they got into trouble simply because they were growing so fast. They had no regulatory experience and they ran afoul of some law, and they ended up in years of litigation. And then once they rebuild their wealth, so they lost their wealth, they rebuild their wealth, then all of a sudden they're locked out of the mainstream financial systems. So one of the things we've been able to do is partner with them using our contacts and our resources throughout the government to bring them mainstream again. The big firms won't touch them, we will. And so that's a big, bold risk that we take, and it's paid off in droves for our clients and for our own firm.
Yeah, that's right. That's the kind of strategic boldness that separates firms that drive from those that merely survive. And again, we go back to our stats. Bain and Company, they did a study and they found that the most successful financial firms make at least 10% of their annual portfolio bets on high risk, high reward opportunities. And clearly, you understand that game well. Now, Hunter, you've raised over $1 billion in capital, which is an incredible feat. When you're dealing with high stakes investments and major financial players, what's the biggest lesson you've learned?
Let me be very clear in this. I think the greatest lesson that is that capital is always abundant, but conviction is rare. Okay? Money flows confidence, and confidence is built on clarity. Autry said it earlier, it's about messaging. So whether it's a venture deal, private equity transaction, doesn't matter what it is. When you have the ability to articulate a vision, a clear vision, and we see it in politics. You know, when Trump was running, he made a very clear vision. I want to make America great again. I want to make America safe again. I want to make America healthy again. Yeah. You have to be decisive, and they fund people. Investors don't fund ideas. They fund people who can turn ideas into reality. Same thing with the vote. They vote for people based on messaging. And you have to be decisive, intellectually rigorous, and you have to be disciplined in your allocation strategy. The best deals are not the ones that look the safest on paper. Let me be very clear. They're the ones where the underlying fundamentals are sound, but the market hasn't fully priced the upside. So when you raise money, it's all about the messaging and the articulation and the confidence standing behind the articulation and the message.
That's gold. The idea that trust and long-term relationships drive financial success isn't talked about enough. So thank you for saying that. When you look at institutional investors, they prioritize relationships over short-term gains, which proves your point exactly. Now let's chat leadership, right? Autry,
Yes.
leadership isn't just about making financial calls. It's about building a culture that can execute the vision. Now, you've balanced leadership across finance, political advocacy, and arbitration. What's your philosophy on leading high-performing teams?
Oh, well, I'll make it brief. I have a long a long philosophy about it, but I'll make it brief. Hunter alluded to some of it. The first thing is understanding the vision yourself. A lot of times leaders can't lead because they do not know their own vision. If you can't lead yourself, you sure can't get anybody else to follow you. So step one is understanding your own vision. The second is to be disciplined enough to stay to your vision. The biggest thing I see CEOs get in trouble with, or founders, is they have a vision, they have a product, and then another idea comes along and they jump over there. Another idea comes along, they jump over that way, right? Staying disciplined in your vision. And then third, this is sort of contrary to the second, is being nimble enough to know when you're off track and you can pivot. It doesn't mean your vision changes. It means the process and execution to how you're going to complete your vision to get to that goal changes. And that is, those are the three areas of leadership in terms of high performing teams, right? Because usually your high performing teams have individuals who are highly intellectual. They're engineers. They're staying narrow. They're staying focused, right? They're going to row that ship. You just have to determine where the ship is being rowed, right? So if you can stay focused and be nimble enough to move, they'll move with you. It's when you become scatterbrained, they become scatterbrained.
Yeah, that's the winning mindset. That's the winning mindset. You know, companies with highly engaged leadership teams are more profitable. The end, right? And the way you empower people clearly reflects that success. Hunter, at the end of the day, financial success is about long-term impact. What legacy do you want to build with Spencer Pruitt?
You know, I always think about this because this is a very important question. It's not just about what we do from a capital deployment perspective or investments or consulting or advisement, but it's really our institutional philosophy of wealth creation that will transcend generations. Okay. Our goal is to build not just an organization, but a family company, if you will, that can actively shape industries and catalyze innovation. Legacy, and this is very important, legacy is not about size, it's about impact. I want to be very clear about that. If decades from now we've only compounded returns, but we haven't empowered entrepreneurs or reshaped industries or set new standards of excellence, which is what we believe in our company is operational excellence. It's excellence in every aspect of what we do. Then we're not building the legacy that we believe is an excellent legacy. So, you know, our industry doesn't need more firms. What it needs is more vision. And that's the legacy that at least I intend to build. And I think along with my partner, Autry, we intend to build.
Boom. That's what it's all about. Not just making money, but creating something that lasts. The firms that focus on legacy, not just transactions, are really the ones that stand the test of time. Well, we are officially out of time. On that note, thank you so much for joining us. You guys are so fun to chat. I could do this for another 30 minutes. You guys are amazing.
Let's go.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
To connect with Autry, you can go directly to his Instagram handle at Autry Pruitt, or you can check him out on LinkedIn at Autry J. Pruitt. And to reach Hunter Spencer, you can follow him on the gram at Hunter's Gaylor, or again on LinkedIn at Hunter Spencer Gaylor. And of course, for more on Spencer Pruitt, visit spencerpruitt.com. That was WOR's Founder Feature of the Month. Until next time, stay sharp, stay strategic, and never settle for the status quo. We'll be right back after this. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
Are you looking to build a new home? Think about building a barn-dominium. There's just something about getting away from it all. Country living, fresh air, and outdoor entertainment. Watch luxury barn-dominium tours on Your Home TV and let Stacy Lynn, the barn-dominium lady, take you on a journey through her barn-dominium designs.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
In today's world, women are achieving remarkable success. They are scaling their career, achieving some great things and breaking barriers and just going for the top. And that is phenomenal and fantastic. And oftentimes women ask themselves, what about starting a family? When am I going to do that? And so the question comes with fertility. And a lot of times when women are ready to start a family, they have sort of passed that fertility window. Here comes egg freezing. It's a national craze. It is something that is talked about, it's been popularized. And today we're gonna unpack egg freezing. Is it really something that's good for you? And what is the outcome of those egg freezing craze that is out there? So if you're a woman and you're thinking you wanna be a mom and you're over 30, I, as an OBGYN board certified, I strongly recommend that you think about egg freezing. It's not a guarantee of a baby, but it's a guarantee of emotional, I think, balance when that time comes for you to use your eggs in case you yourself is not able to conceive naturally. So I am a fan of it. But did you know that 82% of women freezes their eggs because they desire to have a family later on? And out of that 82% that actually freeze the eggs, only 16% of women come back to use the eggs. Now, why? Why is it low? Is it because they found a partner? Yay, that's good news. Is it because they changed their mind to being a mother? That's possible. Is it because their concept of being a mother changes, like being a stepmom, being an adoptive mom, or just being a great aunt? So that is a question that needs to be answered. Why is it that only few women out of 82% chooses to come back to use the egg freezing? And the success rate with egg freezing is something that we really need to talk about and look at more closely. Number one, 74% of egg survival rate after thawing. So of all the egg freezing procedure, there's a 74% survival rate when the egg is thawed to use. Out of that, 67% fertilization rate, 48% of pregnancies occur with embryo transfer, and only 35% live birth rate per embryo transfer. So I do think, and I say that freezing eggs is not a guarantee of a baby. However, it does provide some great emotional options for you as a woman, and it by itself, it's a nice biological, psychological reassurance that you're able to have a child that's biologically yours if it's something that you truly desire. So happy egg freezing and go for it. This has been brought to you by Dr. Daisy Ayim. I'm a triple board certified cosmetic surgeon, board certified OBGYN based in Houston, Texas.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by the Polished Beauty Podcast with Dr. Daisy Ayim. Hey, ambitious women, ready to shine on the inside and out? Tune in to the Polished Beauty Podcast, where we talk about business, beauty, brains, and body all in one spot. Meet Dr. Daisy Ayim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon, pro-aging advocate, fitness enthusiast, and your go-to for real talk on leveling up every part of your life. The Polished Beauty Podcast is your dose of ambition meets empowerment. For more information, head to polishedbeautypodcast.com.
Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
In business and in life, there's always an upside. Finding it is often the challenge. Having a mindset that looks for it and embraces problems as opportunities is the key to thriving. Finding the Upside with Maria de Lorenzo Reyes explores the transformative power of optimism, featuring visionary business owners, influential leaders, and inspiring everyday people. Tune in and see how they navigate changing conditions with optimism and innovation. Watch the special series One Tough Chick, highlighting resilient and powerful women, streaming on yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Well, that's a wrap, my dear friends. We are at the end of our date. Remember to join me right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. Or you could head to 710wor.iheart.com/A Moment of Zen. Also remember that we're live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, and we upload to our YouTube channel Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern. All episodes of A Moment of Zen are available on Your Home TV and Kathy Ireland worldwide streaming platform. You could head directly to our channel at mox.yourhometv.com. It's free programming to you. Thank you for listening to us. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host. Thanks again to all of our sponsors that continue to make the show possible. And remember that happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it. We'll be back next week.